from Julio Cruz and Gaylord Perry to Alvin Davis and Harold Reynolds to father and son back-to-back bombs, from Junior J, Joey, and Edgar with Randy, A-Rod, Dan, and the Sheriff, to Ichiro Moyer and Mikey C, to King Felix, Kyle Cruz, and Cano, to the present with Julio, Gilbert, Kirby, and Cal. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. And my, oh my, our beloved Mariners, we stumbled into the All-Star break. We tripped up a little bit coming out of it. But y'all know, through thick and thin, we'll ride with this team from Nashville down to Albuquerque, Little Lake, Stevens, everywhere in between. We love the Mariners. Very frustrated right now, but I'm still going to ride with these guys. Got to give a huge shout out to our super producer, Indy, out in Nashville, Tennessee, rocking the ones and twos, Vaden podcast services, getting it done for us. I want to give a huge shout out to any of our listeners and friends in the live chat. I am just thrilled that any of you ever want to hop on with us. We can't do the show without y'all. But of course, making his triumphant return, guess who's back? Back again. RG's back. Tell a friend. My brother, it's so good to have you back on the mic. What's going on, dude?
If I shoot you, I'm brainless, but you can shoot me and become famous. What's it good to do? When the streets is watching, blocks keep clocking, waiting for you to break, that's your first mistake. Can't ignore it, that's the fastest way to get extorted. My time is money, and at 41, I can't afford it. It's time to roll, y'all. Let's go to work.
That's what I'm talking about. Bringing the bars like always, my main man, RG. It was a really tough couple days to start the series, and we'll get at you. What's up, Mariners lifer and Paul? Interesting news right there, right as we drop the show right now. We're at least still tied for first, even going 1-for-2 versus Houston. A run differential of 11-8, but we were shut out in game one. Our pitching did enough that we could have won every single game. We missed you last week, RG. Give me any thoughts on the first half and also this tough series to start the second half with Houston.
First half ended the way that I almost thought it would, and I've been telling everybody, if you're a fan of the Mariners, run to your local drugstore, buy you an industrial size case of Tylenol because you are going to need it as we move forward through the next few weeks. It's disappointing that while the iron is hot, it just doesn't seem that we still believe enough in this team for our ownership to do what they said they would, get us some pieces, and move forward. Yes, we come out of this weekend tied for first, but let's get to the meat of this thing. June 18th, we had a 10-game lead, and Houston was 5 games under 500. And here we are on the 21st of July. We're in a dead heat for the division. They closed 10 games on us. Shout out to the person who dropped this little tidbit of information in it, but that is the most ground covered since, what was it, the Miracle Braves of almost 90 years ago. We free-falled in the first half of the season. And now we're going to be in the position where we're playing chase and catch up. Maybe the team plays better when we have that underdog mantra against us. But it would have been nice to do some front running while we could have had a chance to put our foot on their throne, and we didn't. But here we are. Here we are.
You said it, RG. It's been damn near a century since a team collapsed from such a big divisional lead so quickly. It really hurts. I'm a person who never thought that the 10-game lead would last forever just because I never thought Houston was going to be a below 500 team all year. But two things had to happen. The Mariners had to play like shit, and Houston had to get hot. That's exactly what happened. Now we're
In that
tied
order.
for first place. Exactly. Because you take care of business. Take care of business, and then what they do does not matter. It takes two to tango to have a 10-game lead collapse just like that. I have tons of notes here, like always, guys, but we're going to jump around right away because our buddy Paul on the live chat just shouted out Ty France placed on outright waivers. Holy shit. Holy shit. I mean, we've been saying that there needs to be some major moves coming. Mariners lifer, all the wives are upset about the Ty France news. Yours is crying. Y'all know what time it is with my buddies RG and Indy. My wife's had a crush on Ty France for years now. She has
Well, that's
multiple
fantastic.
ties in her life, apparently. So get
That's
him out.
fantastic.
Get him out.
She'll get over it. She'll get over it. She'll be all right. She'll be all
but
right.
I mean, he peaked 3 or 4 years ago. It's obvious. He's been declining. OPS plus in 21, 128. Next year down to 125. Last year down to 100. This year down to 96. His OPS plus has hit a 17-point drop in his career. He is far from the only Mariner that is completely underperforming. But the bottom line is, RG, first base is a power production position, and we have gotten very little of it from Ty. I'm shocked that they outrighted him, but like I've been telling fans this whole time, they're saying trade Ty, trade Polanco, trade Garver, trade Mitch Haniger. Well, the proof is in the pudding. Those dudes have no trade value when you're a very expensive player and are not performing either.
2 seasons ago, that guy was an all-star. Think about that. Let that sit in. 2 seasons ago, that guy was an all-star. And just what's that old Janet Jackson song? What have you done for me lately? That's exactly where we ended up at with the boy. There were a lot of people who wanted him gone during the offseason. We gave him a chance to go to drive line, get it right. I thought he was doing as good as we could have expected from him. I mean, I wasn't expecting him returning to Barry Bonds going into drive line, but I thought he had done enough to earn his keep. But too bad, fuck you, sorry for you. Once you're no longer a man, and I got no emotional attachment to you. So hopefully you and your wife and your baby got some cash stored up. You got something to eat. I ain't sending you no Pizza Hut to the locker room, so it's time to get it. I liked Rayleigh at first today. I got to say I liked it. I like to see him out there doing his thing today. So if that's where we're going to end up, and it wasn't the only move we made. We got rid of Mike Bauman and traded him to the Giants for someone near and dear to my heart, cash considerations. Once Spire came back from the 15-day DL, he didn't clear waivers. This is the second time this year that Bauman has been on the move. Remember, he came to us on May 22nd in a trade after being designated for assignment by the Orioles. 18 games for the Mariners with a 5.5 ERA, a 1.29 whip in 16 and a third innings. It's hard out here for a pimp, man. But it just maybe this is a sign that they are going to try to do something. But that clock's about to tick. Clock's about to tick, dog. So where do you sit? Where do you sit? Do you make a move? Do we ride it out? Because obviously, riding out with what we got, we blew a 10-game fucking lead in 30 days. I don't want to be in a position where we chase Houston all year. The rest of the year, that's not going to play out well for us. And Houston also has 5 pitchers on the injured list too. So what happens when they get 2 of them back? Just makes them even more dangerous. And it's just something about a team that has that championship medal on it, whether they cheated for it or not. They know how to win. And we're still trying to figure it out.
Fair enough, man. Huge shout out to Texas Power Ranger, Sunday Evening Media, and all the homies in the live chat right now. Paul is saying Locklear going to be the everyday first baseman. I'm loving that. There's going to be ups and downs from the young man, but all he's done that we've seen in the major league level is he plays an excellent first base from a fielding perspective. He has raked at every single level of professional ball along the way. And his very first hit in the bigs, I fell in love with him right away because it was an outstanding double to the right center gap. As a right-handed hitter, that's the toughest place to get to in the ballpark. So I'm pumped about that. While we were on last week, RG, while Indy and Blake were chopping it up, I decided to do some quick math on my cell phone, and Ty Locklear, although he only had 30 at bats to Ty France's 300, he hits a home run. He's three times more likely to hit a home run than Ty France. I repeat, Ty Locklear is three times more likely to go yard than Ty France. So something had to happen. One thing we always got to wonder too is what's going on in the clubhouse. We know the Mariners were upset with Jesse Winker a couple years ago because his struggles were affecting how he was amongst his teammates. We've seen certain guys like Jorge Polanco. I've seen him in the dugout before when he's been benched, and he was extremely encouraging towards Ryan Bliss, giving him some sweet nothings in his ear, that sort of thing. But if you're struggling, you can't be a sour puss taking down the clubhouse. And I'm not saying that Ty France was, but that's sure a possibility. Texas Power Ranger talking about putting service on waivers outright. That's pretty good. I I have a feeling that Service and Depoto might be connected though. That they might go down with the ship. The only way Service is out is if there is a direct order from ownership where they tell Jerry it's either both of you or he's got to go. But I think they're kind of tied at the hip, and to me, Service is sort of a yes man sort of manager. He's going to do as he's told. And for front offices in today's era, RG, they like a yes man manager. This isn't Lou Pinella screaming at the mountaintops that we got to do this or that anymore. Front offices are running shit more and more, for better or worse, or in between, however you look at it.
Well, no billionaire wants a guy who they've made a millionaire to tell him what to do. They don't want any pushback from that, especially the way that our franchise is ran. Reading Ryan Divish article here, Ty France has been placed on irrevocable outright waivers. If a team claims him, he's theirs. If he clears, he's still with the Mariners and can be outrighted to the minors. Because of his service time, he can refuse the outright assignment. It's going to be a really interesting 24 hours to see how this plays out. I'm here for all smoke, so I'd love to see how the dirt plays out once we get to that point as well, too. And people start snitching on each other's secrets. But it does kind of sound to me that this thing could get a little bit interesting before he's officially off the payroll. Um, Again, I thought he did as decent as he could before he during this season before he took his break to have his child. Um, I thought he did as decent as he could. I didn't think he was ever going to get back to the way he was smoking the ball a couple years ago. Just a case of those knob block yips, and we just tough to be in. But shh, maybe we did it to clear something. If Locklear is the way we're going to go, hell, so be it. I still think we need a proven player with some proven production. But if we're going to give the young man a chance, let's give the young man a chance. Maybe it's him and Bliss's time to shine. But Polanco did look good smoking that ball to right field today. Tell you that.
Oh, hell yeah. it We've been screaming at the mountaintops since that trade that we were so hyped for Polanco. And it's crazy to think about because I wrote it down here just because, do I think Scott Service is the truth? No. But his players have let him down. His players have to play better. And maybe it's just because in my upbringing as a youngster, my parents always told me it's not the coach's fault. It's not the teacher's fault. You got to practice harder. You got to study harder. It's on you to perform. And so I might be a little bit old school. I might be a little bit blinded by the facts that a coach or a teacher can directly affect you, but that's just my mindset on the situation. Now, Jorge Polanco, in five of the last prior six seasons, he had an OPS plus over 115, which is really good. The only year he was below that number was the 2020 COVID season, which is hard to take anything from that except for maybe RG is right that MLB was trying to help LA that season. But regardless of that, Jorge Polanco had a 47-point drop in OPS plus from last year to this year. A lot of fans are saying that we are buying a guy that was already damaged goods, but that's not true. That's not true at all. He had three straight really successful seasons since COVID. and it absolutely fell apart for him this year. RG is right though. He's stinging the ball. Maybe we need to get on JP Crawford a little bit more because all of a sudden I blinked and Mr. 190 now has a 1 point higher batting average than Sir JP Crawford. And just before I throw it back in the low block RG, I brought up Ty France's contract. He is a 6.775, nearly $7 million player this year. And if we're getting rid of him, we just traded a reliever for some cash money. Maybe we're trying to make some moves here to acquire a dude or two. It still pisses me off though, man, because the trade deadline, you always pay a tax. Get your shit done during the off season. But hey, here we are.
I wonder what the breaking point was. With Kelnick, we knew that the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, and that's how that situation was going to end up. Like you said, they did it during the offseason. We gave, I think maybe we did the right thing by him, let him make a little bit of money, let him take care of his family, be in a comfortable situation while he and his wife are going through the birth of their first child. Um, but yeah, man, I wonder what the breaking point was. I thought he did the best he could with the situations that we put him in. I thought a resurgence back to that R-star level was going to be tough for him. But that is kind of shocking. We're just like, dude, we just got to get rid of you. Cancel that bitch like Nino, dog. Yeah, man. But it's if we're preparing for a move, I see here. Tommy saying maybe we're making move for Vlad Jr. Again, I just don't see Toronto parting ways with him, and that's just not something that we typically do as far as an organization goes. But I would love for them to prove me wrong.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think every Mariners fan would love Vlad Jr., but I'm kind of with Texas Power Ranger. He says keep dreaming, and it could be possible. But I just put myself in the seat of the Toronto front office, and shit, man, I ain't trading Vlad Jr. for nothing right now. I mean, that's how you get fired. That's how you get fired because RG, I know how you feel about prospects. And this is a proven guy. You, as an organization, You dream of a homegrown prospect turning into a dude as freaking good as Vlad Jr. And I would rather get fired riding with my best players than trading my best player and praying that a few you guys pan out in a few years. Because guess what? You're probably going to be gone anyways if that's the case. AL East is no picnic. We know that. And we were just talking about maybe making some room. RG, you just referenced you like Luke Rayleigh at first. Solid move. He's been one of our best players this year. But we can't understate what Victor Robles has done for this team. Victor Robles was once 5 or 6 years ago, he was a consensus top five prospect in all of baseball. It clearly didn't work out how the Nationals and Robles wanted it to. He was eventually put on the waiver wire. We picked him up. But some guys, the weight of expectation from an organization can make it really tough. My boy RG was talking about, being able to play free and easy. And there is truth to that. But check this out, y'all. And this is as of Saturday night. As a Mariner in 25 games, Robles is hitting 390 with a 1053 OPS, seven stolen bases, and a .8 WAR in 25 games. A .8 WAR in 25 games is freaking awesome, y'all. And then to top it off, he added on Sunday 2 for 4 with a stolen base. This guy can field. This guy can run. He has some pop. We've seen multiple bump base hits from him. So if we can use Robles as a mainstay in the corner outfield, we have Luke Rayleigh, who can maybe play first base for us a little bit more. Ty Locklear might be on his way back up. Everything might be looking good right now, and I can't emphasize it enough. Robles is only a 27-year-old man. He is, and fans always RG. They tell me that Canzone's got way more potential than Marlowe. Well, I'm telling y'all that Robles has way more potential than either of those dudes. He's playing like a vastly better player than either of those two dudes. And they're all the same age. They're like all 3 months of birth date between each other. They're all basically the same age. So hopefully Robles can kind of be a reclamation saving grace type of player, and maybe we can get this shit rolling, bro.
We're not going to get Canzone back for a couple weeks. Beginning of August is the earliest that they're saying we'll be able to get him back. So it'll definitely give us some time to kind of tinker with some things. Put Locklear first, Rayleigh in the outfield, give Robles some playing time. We're going to have to make a decision on what we're going to have to do with one of the Mitches. I personally would like to see Garver stay and Haniger go. Make case some heat for that. Catch me, I'm in Albuquerque. You know where to find me. Uh, I just we got to do something. We got to do something. Houston is going to continue to keep performing. They're going to get some pitching back. They're going to get healthy. They know how to win. We're still trying to figure this out. For God's sakes, if this is what we're riding for, don't make me sit in suspense anymore. Just fucking tell me. We're not going to do shit when it comes to the trade deadline. We may do some moves to bolster the roster the farm system, but if we're not going to do anything, these are the guys we're riding with. Again, grab you a Tylenol. You might need it. It's going to get bumpy.
And what sucks right now is I honestly think the Mariners do want to try to make moves, but it is bleak in terms of selling teams. I looked through the standings and considered where each are at. There's only 8 to 11 teams that are even going to consider being sellers. Two or three of those teams are hovering around 500. So their ownership might be like, nah, we need our asses in the seats. We know how me and RG feel about Mariners ownership. 54% didn't come from nowhere. If you can stay in the mix, Seattle fans are going to show up. You got to really suck for us to disappear. But they know. They know if we're competitive, these fans are going to show up. And so it's going to be really interesting what happens down the stretch. But there's several teams, RG, where I was targeting some of their good players, 2 months ago. But teams like the Red Sox and even the Diamondbacks and some other squads have at least scratched and clawed their way into a picture where their ownership is probably like, nah, y'all can't be selling when we're this close.
Over some of the conversations that we've had off mic, that's really what that 54% kind of broke down to. And if you're in the bleacher community like I am, it's probably the biggest hot topic that we can still talk about. To me, just like Ty says, it's we're doing enough to keep you coming to the game. And we really don't care how it plays out as long as we keep you coming until September 29th. Because by the time we get to September 30th and August 1st, they've already made a profit of $250 million this year. They ain't losing no money. The key is to keep you coming through the turnstile, to keep you buying $30 beers, to keep you buying $20 chocolate covered grasshoppers or whatever the crazy shit that they sell is. I want to come to Seattle and try the mint switch, but I also want to come cheer for a team that has the potential to get into the playoffs. It's just real interesting. Yes, we're tied, but it really feels like we have lost so much more over the last 30 days than we've actually gained by today's win to keep us even with the big bad wolf.
I mean, it is what it is. You said it. This is a historical collapse. Now, to be on the positive side, we are still in first place. But if we don't turn the ship around exactly now, Houston's going to lap us, not just pass us. They're going to fricking lap us. Now, I got a question, RG. Former Mariner Oscar Hernandez put on a show for the Home Run Derby.
Boy,
And he also cost, what's up, man?
boy, Oscar Hernandez. That should be if we're talking about shit we did wrong during the offseason and things that we misread during the offseason, maybe I'm crazy and I'll die on this sword. I would gladly take the 114 strikeouts he has this year for the production he has put up for one of the best teams in baseball. Maybe that comes behind hitting behind Otani, Freeman, Mookie Betts when he's back in there, but goddamn, hasn't Teoscar made us look real fucking stupid for not giving him a qualifying offer? and just letting the boy walk.
No offer. If you offer and he walks, I'm cool. I can live with that. We don't even offer the dude. Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate against myself because I just became a huge Teoscar fan. I feel that he plays with an intensity combined with a joy that's infectious for a baseball team. But so Teoscar is nearly a $25 million player. Forget all the deferred money. That's like what it comes down to, almost 25 million. So I look at it like a poker game. Sometimes you make the smart decision and you still lose. The Mariners organization is saying, hey, we can get two proven bats versus one proven bat if we let Teoscar go. They bring in Garver, they bring in Polanco, and those two contracts equal about to what Teoscar is making. But then RG, there's and this is where you're always touting for proven players over prospects. At least my read on our friendship is that a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. And the Mariners went for two in the bush, and it absolutely backfired.
Sure did. Sure did. We love the reacclimation project. We love to go shopping at Savers. Or I don't know what kind of thrift store y'all call it up there in the Northwest, but we love to go see if we can find a pair of Givenchy jeans sitting there tucked away in the thrift store somewhere. Sometimes it happens for you, sometimes it doesn't, and it just looks like it hasn't for us recently. Rojas is Rojas starting the year that the way he did. I'm happy that we have him, and hopefully he can kind of get back to doing with some of that. But to not offer the dude and the dude just go to LA and kill. Now, like you said too, that if I was in Teoscar's position and I'm like, I don't really know, I kind of want to come back. Seems like you don't want me, and a team that just went out and spent $1 billion in free agent acquisitions was like, why don't you come rock with us? Deuces. We out to the next one. And just almost a resurgence in the boy's career. Like you said, that watching that smile seems infectious. And I don't like the fact that it's no longer in Seattle. I was hyped when we got him from Toronto in the first place. But just man, it's just tough to see him be on the other side of the big bad wolf and them just out there just the boy's been crushing it. Boy's been crushing it. Even for Vlad to sit there and tell him during the home run derby, look, I don't have a dog in this fight, but try this in your approach. And he goes up there and he does it and wins. And even today with the ball that he hit out, watching a little bit of this Dodgers Red Sox game before we went on air, same thing. A cutter pitch where the cutter's supposed to be, and he just let it travel and do what he's supposed to do with it, hit it the opposite field, and just would love to have that production in our lineup. Drop the ball. Just drop the ball on it. Fuck your 114 strikeouts. I would love to see that dude back in the Mariner jersey.
Well, we sure didn't solve the strikeout problem. We're about to set the freaking record for Pete's sakes, man. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. I try not to lament too much on the past because what you did is done and you got to roll with your decisions in life. But here's a great example, bro. Teoscar Hernandez from Toronto to Seattle, his OPS dropped 21 points. Now, from Seattle to LA, his OPS plus has jumped up 18 points. Whether it's hitting philosophy, he says that he can't square himself in the batter's box at T-Mobile Park, which is a major issue in itself. But man, what is going on? And then Jesse Winker, here's another example. He had a 40-point drop off in OPS plus from the Reds to the Mariners. Now I know the Reds play in a bandbox, but 40-point drop, that's a lot more than fucking changing stadiums. That's all I know. He had a bad year with Milwaukee last year, I'll admit that. But Winker has absolutely bounced back, and from his time as a Mariner to now this season with the Nationals, that's a 32-point jump in OPS plus. I mean, we're not talking incremental amounts from guys' production decreasing in Seattle and improving once they leave. We're talking about quantum leaps, bro, which is making it kind of hard for me to explain, but the proof is in the pudding. Guys are coming here and losing themselves.
Just I really don't have a proper response for that. That's just not me cussing and yelling and then throwing shit over. Just it's unfortunate the way that it's bounced out, but to try to do the right thing and look at the silver lining. We are still very much in this race. I personally, just for my comfort level, would like to see us go out and get some bats to try to help this lineup be a little bit more productive. We haven't even touched on the Julio injury yet, or potential there. For those of you who are watching the game, Yordan Alvarez crushes the ball to center field. Julio does his best George Kenneth impression, runs it down, jumps up, leaps, catches it, and runs into the outfield fence. And on the way down, when you see that ball come out, you just know it's not good because you can instantly see it on his face, and he immediately starts grabbing for that ankle. The positive to take away from it, though, was after a couple minutes, he did walk off the field under his own power. They were going to bring the card out for him. He waved it off, was able to move on his own power. So that is a good thing. But it is not a good thing for the fact that he is hotter than fish grease right now. And who knew that all it took was for Tyler to accuse a man of being on drugs? He should have done it earlier. Matter of fact, Ty, go on ahead and accuse the whole goddamn team of being on drugs. If that's what it's going to take to get us over this fucking hump. George hung on to the ball. George hung on to the ball. All right, touche, Emmit Brown, touche.
Hey, there's only one George Kenneth Griffey Jr. We all know that shit. And for all of our homies on the live text or the live chat, whatever you want to call it, my podcast partners know this, but one of our dogs is named Griffey, and there's obvious reason why for that. But huge shout out. We got Mariners lifer, Emmit Brown, Texas Power Ranger, Mariners lifer, the whole crew. What's going on? Y'all are throwing some banter around with the Rangers and the Mariners.
Yeah, shout out to the homie Paul, man. Sunday, Sunday evening media. Happy to have all y'all with us tonight.
Shit, good call, man. Good call. I just I just looked at the standings though, man. Texas is only 5 games back. They might have had a shitty record, but nobody has played great baseball for any stretch in the AL West. We've talked about this numerous times. You're going to have to win this division to make the playoffs in the American League this year. Oh, Texas Power Ranger, it sucks, but the World Series helps. We talk about this on the show, just looking at the view from 3,000 feet, so to speak. And I think most Mariners fans, if not all, would agree that we would take some futility to actually get to the Holy Grail. What about you, RG? Would you take some lean years to actually get there, or are you a 54 percenter?
You know me, dog. If we lie, I'm an Eddie Guerrero fan and wrestling, baby. Lie, cheat, steal. Whatever it is we have to do to make sure that we are one of the last two teams standing. And it just means even more for me because now I get to watch the World Series and don't have to listen to Joe Buck. I would love even more of it. Whatever it takes to make sure that we are one of the last two teams standing in October, I'm for it. I talk all the time. My beloved New Mexico Lobos, we went and hired Rick Pitino's son, Richard Pitino. And I started screaming, how come we didn't go get Rick Pitino? And everybody, oh, well, he does damage everywhere he goes. And I said, you know what? Look, if he got us to the Sweet 16 and got us to the Final Four and we somehow won that thing, I don't give a damn if they come back 2 years later and give us the University of Michigan treatment and take all those banners out the pit. I seen it with my own eyes, and you'll never be able to change the fact that we got to the promised land no matter what he had to do. But I'm telling you, man, this just whatever it is, whatever it takes. I just don't know if our ownership feels the exact same way. Because, like you said, the fans aren't going to start coming, and we'd have to have a 100-loss season for the fans to stop supporting. But again, Seattle is a mid-major city and not a whole lot else going on up there. So it's going to be real interesting for you to, hey kids, let's go to the Mariners game tonight. I got these tickets for shit. People gonna show up, dog. They're lucky that they don't live in a market where there is other shit going on around the city to take your attention away from it. You ever look at the Dodger game? Dodgers have been one of the best teams in baseball the last 5 years. Only certain games sell out because it's LA. And there's 900 different fucking things to go do to take your attention from it. They're not playing for 54%. They're spending $1 billion in free agents to try to give them a chance to be at the World Series every fucking year. I know we can't afford to do that, but at least give me 250. At least give me 350. Make me some kind of splash. But nah, we let WBD rob us with Root Sports. They decided let's fucking buy the warehouse across the street and turn it into a bar. Let's put some new press boxes in here. Let's get the stadium ready for the All-Star game. And I love T-Mobile Stadium. I love T-Mobile Stadium, but Jesus fucking Christ, man. Put them money and their talent on the field and let's go out and get the goddamn thing done.
I mean, coming from experience, the kingdom was a shithole. It was a piece of trash. It smelled like a combination of BO, piss, and Bud Light. And guess what? The team wins, and the place is absolutely packed, and you are breathing on each other from inches apart, and no one gives a damn. Somehow things have gotten lost in translation within the Mariners organization. And honestly, I sometimes think that they just got lucky. You know, if you are in last place for 15 years in a row, you're going to luck into a Griffey Jr. You're going to somehow. And Randy Johnson was almost an accident. Mark Langston was a proven ace at the time. We traded for 3 pitching prospects, hoping one of them pops. No, I mean, we knew about his stuff, but remember, Randy's first no hitter, he had 10 walks in that game. This guy was such a wild card when we picked him up. The Mariners might have just gotten lucky in those Kingdom days, and this might have always been the franchise. But you want to know how it feels to be a Mariners fan sometimes? Julio Rodriguez, we are praying that he has a negative MRI tomorrow morning. We are praying that he only ends up on a 10-day injured list. But the last 2 weeks, he's hit 483 with a 1.421 OPS. He's struggled all season until recently. I swear to God, RG, this is being a Mariners fan in a nutshell. Your superstar finally finds it, finally gets hot, and now trying to make a game-saving play, he freaking hurts himself.
Just so painful. Just so painful. Even a game that we win, we can't win for losing. It just seems just we didn't want to see that boy go out like that. Hopefully, the injury is something that he could come back from. Emma saying we get, I guess it's a high ankle sprain. Hopefully, it's something that's a short time. Let him get some rest off it for a couple of days. Let the swelling go down and see where he's at. And then have to come back and say that somehow ended him on the 15-day DL. Especially like you said, he been hitting over 500 in the last 2 weeks ever since you called him out for drug use. Just the boy been hotter than fish grease. Him and Cal had gone back to being what we needed them to be, and now we're gonna go back looking for answers. But hopefully, this is where that number 3 farm system comes in, and Lockley can come up and be able to get some things done, and we could just right the ship until we get him healthy. And how nice would it be if we gave that boy an extra bat and some relief once we get to the trade deadline? But I think I'm just hoping and wishing at this point.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I see Texas Power Ranger saying that we need to get a new manager to get to where we want to get to. And I would say maybe. But I can't get over the fact that we need players to perform for the manager to even matter. And maybe the Mariners are too cautious with their arms. That's my only criticism of Scott is that I feel from my instincts that they pull pitchers too early, but this shit's decided before the game happens. You know, the gut instinct tells you to leave Kirby in, to leave in Gilbert, but they're trying to preserve arms. The Mariners, for the most part, have a pretty healthy pitching staff, so I honestly think they're doing something right there. But RG, ever since Teoscar made his comments about openly struggling with T-Mobile Park, all these stats have been flying out of the woodwork. The Mariners are on, or I shouldn't say the Mariners. T-Mobile Park is on pace for the lowest ballpark ballpark average in Major League history. The Mariners are hitting 212 at T-Mobile. The opponent is hitting freaking 198 at T-Mobile. According to Google Statcast, they have the hardest hitting ballpark in baseball. They list 100 as their average score, and T-Mobile's ballpark factor is at a 91. Put that in comparison, there's six other ballparks tied for the second toughest to hit in, and they're at 97. So we're not just the toughest place to hit in, we're easily the toughest place to hit in. But then I also come back to we have great pitching and we have poor hitting. So it can't all be the ballpark, but something's going on here, man.
Just read a stat here while you were sharing those numbers. The four worst team batting averages in Mariner history have all been since 2020. Would you believe that? In this magical run where we've been knocking on the door of the playoffs over the last few years, we have four of the worst batting averages in team history during that time. Just you talk about us getting lucky, dog. We are playing we're playing with fire. One season it didn't burn us. The rest of it we fall in one game short. I just I just don't know what it's gonna take. I just don't know what it's gonna take. Go get a bat. Go get a bat. Please go get a bat. Go get a bat. But they won't. They won't. If they go get us a bat, it'll be a guy who was hot 10 years ago, like Mace. just, just don't know. Just don't know what it is to. Just don't know what it is to do. Um, but yeah, man, with Robles heating up the way he is, Polanco seeing the ball better. I said keep Garver and get rid of Haniger just because Garver's at bats to me just seem more promising. The guy's walking and he's on base a lot, and you know how it goes. The guy you walk always seems to end up scoring. So I'd rather keep Garver around than Haniger, who just. I mean, we were in a stretch with him. I think we brought him back to try to do right by him, but it's just not seeming to work out. So maybe with Ty getting his release, it might be time to let go of one of the Mitches as well too. Um, anything to just break this monotony. You know, our schedule. We're going to do some bouncing back and forth between some big dogs and some games we should win. Houston of the two, just from the outlook of browsing through their schedule here on the iPad, think that they might have an easier way of it the rest of the year than we do. But just again, just none of that's going to matter if we don't have the guys 1 through 9 in the lineup who can get up and get some production. We are going to overwork that pitching staff if we keep giving them the Felix 5 times a fucking week.
Oh, hell yeah. Shout out Ginger Fit Dad coming back with us. Polo's heating up. He is a career 770 OPS type of guy. He has been extremely consistent for the majority of his career, except for the COVID season, which I can kind of just throw out in my opinion. But man, it's tough right now because there's limited teams to trade for, and I'm just wanting like Sunday evening media for our guys to play as well as they can. Mitch Haniger might be washed, dude. He really might be washed though, man. So it makes me nervous. It makes me sad because he's a fan favorite, but I don't know if we can get rid of him, dude. He has like a $16 million player option next year. I don't know if ownership is going to pay any person $16 million to not play for us. Maybe I can be proven wrong. To me, Mitch Haniger was an NBA trade. We see this in the NBA all the time where you're just swapping bad contracts and both teams are praying. Both teams are praying that Robbie Ray can make it back and be what he once was. We're praying that Mitch Haniger can find what he was in the Cano Cruz era. It looks like neither of those things are happening right now. The only saving grace is Robbie Ray had a lot more years left on his deal than Mitch Haniger, but it's a tough situation. Both teams traded outrageous contracts, praying neither of them are working out. I would love some bats from Tampa Bay. I would love some bats from Tampa Bay. Are you kidding me? And the fact of the matter is, RG, a lot of our possible trade targets would come in and have the highest OPS on the team from day one. Emmett's asking who the fuck loves Mitch. Well, I love him for what he did. for what he did. Now, there's a huge difference there. A love and respect. To me, it breaks my heart, but the dude looks washed. I feel I can be on both sides of the fence because I appreciate all the production. He's a great worker, he's a great leader, but Father Time is undefeated, and this shit looks like it's over for our once stud outfielder.
It does. It does. And again, I thought that we tried to do right by doing what we should have done a couple seasons ago with him and for him. But just it's time to move on. We need to give those at bats to somebody who could do a little bit more than them. And yes, I'm a homer, so that's why I'm picking Mitch Garver over Mitch Haniger. But if we got rid of both Mitches, I could bring in somebody to do some fucking work for us. I will help you come pack up their condos tomorrow if we fucking had to. 10 toes down to get the Mariners to the playoffs. And I would love for us to get in as the AL West champs and not sneak in the back door of the wild card and have to play a team we don't want to see. Again, I can't tell you what it is going to take to get there. I don't know what's going to trigger Stanton to give Jerry and Hollander the levels that they need to be able to go out and get this done. But that comes back to that pressure point number of 54% to us. Like me and Ty were talking off mic and our producer, that wasn't supposed to come out. That came out in fucking frustration. And because it came out, now we're all trying to make sense of it. If you are a manager, that number is great because it keeps asses in the seats. I've been around here since 93. I don't give a fuck about you having asses in the seats because I see Tampa not have anybody show up, and they've at least been to 2 World Series in my lifetime. I've seen the Marlins fucking bomb numbers, and no one show up to the NLCS. And they have 2 fucking World Series rings. I don't give a fuck about your bottom line. It's a championship I want. And yes, they're not going to see it my way. That's why they're multi-billionaires and I drive a truck for a living. But geez, just whatever it fucking takes. Whatever it fucking takes. He said life's a Mitch and then you die. It sure the fuck is, man. It sure is.
Life's a Mitch and then you die. That's why we get high, because you never know when you're going to go. You know what
I
time it is. We bring a little funk and flavor to this thing.
think we just found the title for this episode. Life's a Mitch and then you die.
Huge shout out to everybody in the live chat community, man. Y'all bring so much fire to this show. We absolutely love it. Tommy, I think Yandy Diaz is actually very attainable. He's much older than Isaac Paredes, for example. Paredes going to take a giant blockbuster to get that done. Yandy is pretty attainable. He's like 30, 31 first baseman. Isaac is 25, 26 third base. So just based on the age and positional value, Yandy Diaz would be much more attainable, clearly, at least in my opinion. Oh, I'm getting a little hot and bothered about this, RG, because I'm just looking at the Mariners right now, and I have a lot of friends that listen on their commutes to work because you're on the highway more than any of us, man. You got to have something to listen to, keep your ass rolling. But I have some buddies who are saying that maybe we should slightly sell Dan Pat, but I'm looking at the realistic Mariners window. Our window right now is 2.5 years starting right now, and it's really 2.3 years, really, because we have a third of the season left this year. And then Logan Gilbert, without an extension, will be an unrestricted free agent after 2 seasons. Cal and Kirby will both be unrestricted free agents in 3 seasons if they don't receive an extension. And RG, the last thing I want to do is in 3 or 4 years from now is look back on this team and Cal's on the Red Sox and Kirby's on the Yankees. And I'm wondering to myself, why the fuck did we not go to this when those 2 players are now playing for East Coast Giants?
I'm sorry. Did you just bring up the story of the 2000-2001 Mariners? Is that what just happened? Did we just hop way back in the Wayback Machine where we had a window, we got there twice, and before you knew it, Randy Johnson was pitching in Arizona. Ken was in Cincinnati, A-Rod got a $290 million of contract to go play in Texas, and we have only had one playoff appearance ever since. Is that what you're telling me right now? Dude, and you already know how it goes with Cal. I've been screaming this even 3 years before we get here. That dude's a Boris agent. Boris wants his dudes to go test the fucking market. So we got to give that dude some incentive to go in there and see if he can press old Scotty Boy to change his mind. If not, we're going to lose him for nothing. We definitely don't want to be stuck holding the bag on that. We're just looking at what could have been. The time is now. But also, yet again, too, if they're more interested in the profit that they're making at the turnstile over than the product of the field, what's the give and take in that, though? Would love to be a fly on the wall in those meetings. What's the give and take in that? Because eventually you might bore your fan base to where they're not going to show up and buy those expensive tickets and buy those expensive beers and pay for parking. I don't have any kids, but on average, it's a mortgage payment to take a family out to a ball game now. And you're lucky that you have a halfway decent product, but also as fans as well too. We need you guys to kind of stop being happy with the bobbleheads and fireworks and demand a little bit better. And maybe not go to 40 games a year. Maybe lower that down to 20. Maybe do something to get them to say, we need to put money into the product on the field. But right now, it just doesn't seem like there's a press for them to be able to do that. And that's just really unfortunate because it could be us. It could be us. The 2019 Washington Nationals, that could be us. No need while Florida has 2 World Series and we haven't even been to one. That could be us. Houston bombed before they got good. We went to a game out in Minute Maid Park, and I'll tell you, for those of you who never been there, Minute Maid Park is a T-Mobile Park knockoff, not built half as well. But I'll tell you what's up. Talking to some of the fans and some of the people who were lifetime Astros, they'll tell you after the 2005 World Series when they lost to the White Sox, you could give someone prime seats behind home plate and people weren't going to those games. Took them a long time to be able to build that team into a contender. And then now look at them. Off of 100 lost seasons, boom, they're in there. Cubs were lovable losers. Lovable losers. Even they got their 2016. Even the Royals got 2 World Series appearances back to back and got their title. When is our fucking turn? When is our turn? When do those prospects become contributors and not suspects? When do we make the decision on if it's time to ride with them, or if we're just going to keep trying to make sure that that cupboard's full in case we need it, but then not doing anything to utilize any of the ingredients in there? Again, I wish I had the answers to those, but it's just overly frustrating. But not all is gloom because we still somehow eked out that win today, and we're still tied for first with Houston. Even when we should have been on the verge of storming the offices, one win made the temperature calm down. And I, for one, I'm a little upset about that. I'll be honest.
It's tough. It's tough because, I mean, there's no reason that you're wrong, RG, about all the negativity surrounding the Mariners plummet the last month or so. I believe in our group text at some point this week, I told these guys I'm fearing that the Mariners are about to be in a free fall, and RG so eloquently corrected me. The Mariners are in a free fall, bro. What are you thinking? And it's true. It's true. It's like you said, it's a historical 10-game collapse, as you referenced, bro. And so we need to strike now. I mean, here's another question I asked some of my friends when we were debating the Mariners. How often do you have the best rotation in baseball? How often does that happen? For most franchises, it's never happened. Until recently, it never happened for the Mariners. We'd be lucky to have a couple of good starters. And so these opportunities don't come often. Tomorrow is not promised. We've already fumbled the offseason 2 or 3 times in a row, in my opinion. That's the time to get guys. Now we have to pay a tax. Now we have to pay a desperation tax. Ginger Fit Dad, let's fricking go. There are 61 games left. Give the Blue Jays an offer they can't refuse for Vlad Jr. He's got an OPS plus of like 136, batting 293 with 16 bombs. He's the creme de la creme to me. Paredes wouldn't be good at T-Mobile. That's interesting. That's interesting. One of his huge upsides is pull power. But you know what? We need something. We need something. And maybe his production goes down a little bit, but it can't be worse than the production we're getting out of third base, first base, DH, corner outfielder. My goodness gracious. Let's fricking go, man. I mean, I I don't know RG, but man, putting Ty France on the waiver claim, that sure sends a shockwave through the clubhouse because we know all his teammates like him. But this is a business, and maybe the Mariners are finally thinking about the business of baseball, not the business of selling tickets. Let's hope some good things are around the corner.
Man, I'm telling you, dude, just give us some glimmer of hope. Give us some glimmer of hope. Being, well, what was it that y'all talked about the other week? For us being in a position where we've had this epic collapse, we are still tied for first. It sure does feel like we're 5 games behind and not in a position where we're actually competing for a division title. But let's gonna have to change, dog. Let's gonna have to change eventually, and hopefully, we begin to get some good luck when the Angels come into town.
You're damn right. Can't be losing 3 or 4 against these fools again. It's time to play some better baseball. And there's a young man who we're both very high on, but the Mariners also need to play good, clean baseball. Last night, we are trying to make a last ditch attempt to come back in the ball game. Mitch Haniger walks, gets to first base. We put in Clase. He gets picked off. Luke Riley strikes out on 3 pitches. And we go from no outs, looking like we can start a damn rally, to 2 outs, nobody on. And we need Griffey, Edgar, and A-Rod in a row to even have a frickin' prayer. Come on, y'all. I like Ginger Fit Dad, though. We've all been sad. We've all been angry. But he's right, though, man. This is why I love people with a competitive spirit. Because, damn it, you can't get down. It is not the time to get down. Pull yourself up off the mat, man, and kick some fucking ass, bro.
9 days. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. 9 days until there is a sellout on pitchforks and kerosene and lighters at your local Home Depot, and we are all marching through Pioneer Square, demanding that Stanton come outside and talk to us. Yes, sir.
I mean, guys got to step up too. JP Crawford, 205, unacceptable. Jorge Polanco, 205, unacceptable. Mitch Garver, 170, unacceptable. Ginger Fit Dad saying it was a terrible decision to bring Stanek in off an injury. That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point because y'all know I'm a huge Stanek guy. I absolutely love the signing, but he has been honestly kind of bad lately. But maybe he's right. He looked like he was pitching gingerly. His back is probably acting up. And I wrote down in my notes, and we don't get to everything in my notes because we like to go with the flow here. This is just for analysis when we need it. But that 3-run bomb he gave up the other night, it's 100% on him. But I also look at Mitch Haniger, and he was nowhere close to that ball. That was a robbable ball. That was a ball he should have been able to at least attempt to bring back into the ballpark. We need some speed and athleticism, but I guess we need hitting more. I'm at a loss though right now. It's so frustrating to see all these guys with 200-point discrepancies in their OPS compared to the previous season. JP, I'm calling your name, man. For whatever reason, RG, we always forget about how poor he's playing and nag on the new guys. But JP Crawford, man, is not even playing. I don't even expect last season. I thought that would be hard for him to duplicate, but he's not even playing like previous JP. He needs to be at least an above average shortstop, and he's not even doing that right now.
Yeah, we definitely need more production out of Mr. Jonathan Paul, or I'm going to begin screaming for his head as well too. Anybody's replaceable, dog. Whatever it takes for us to get over this next hump. I'm appreciative of the things that he's done, but we need production now. I'm with I'm with you, man. I've been a what do you say? I've been a lifetime Mariner fan since I was in diapers. I'm tired of having faith. I need results. I feel the exact same way, man. I feel the exact same way, man. I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to see it. I remember the feeling was, oh, nah, 2022, that's going to be us. Nah, 2023, no, you wait. This team is built for us to win in 2024. And it's damn near August, dog. It's damn near August, but, it is darkest before the dawn. It's head up and even. Head up and even. Who's going to have the better record between us and Houston over 61 games? I think we need some pieces in order to be able to compete. I hope these guys come out and prove me wrong, and that compared to fire, just take over and they can get done what they need to get done.
Oh hell yeah. And y'all know me. Y'all know me. I don't care about his strikeouts. I don't care about his lack of fielding ability. Get freaking Brent Roker in here. Please. Please. This dude freaking rakes. He's got an over 900 OPS for Pete's sakes on a god awful team. Mariners lifer, you read our minds right there because myself and super producer Indy were talking about Robles going to the leadoff position. Ginger Fit Dad, we were on the same train as you. Put JP down in the lineup, and it always seems like JP struggles when you just put him at the top of the lineup, but we have him hit low in the lineup. He catches fire, and then we bring him up, and it seems to be all good. Maybe that's a pattern we need to accept. I'm gonna just go back way in the time machine here, and I had some different coaches in my life want me to lead off, and I was honestly a significantly worse hitter leading off than being lower in the lineup. There's a responsibility, a discipline, and a certain amount of balls, I would say, to be a successful leadoff hitter. You don't get to be as aggressive as a hitter as you want. And you just feel the pressure, man. And JP needs to go down to the lineup. Robles has done everything you would want for us to have him lead off. And the shitty elephant in the room is we have a lineup juggle coming as of tomorrow with Julio's injury and Ty's exodus.
So it's on you now, Service. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Because we can't afford for you to keep playing checkers. We need you to start playing chess. And then again, too, how much is that the hand that's controlling him into what he can and cannot do? Where are all these analytic experts who should be banging down his door, showing that we should have Robles hitting in the leadoff spot? But I don't know, man. I just want to see us be able to make a move and do something different and get us back in the game.
Well, we've been throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks all season in terms of creating a lineup. Why stop now? Why stop now? It's what we've had to do the entire season, bro.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Big shout out to our super producer, Indy, rocking the ones and twos with us in Nashville. That we're grateful to have each and every one of you that are rocking with us live each and every Sunday. We try to make sure that we get this live broadcast out. Sometimes because of work, my availability isn't the best, but it's always good to see the same faces in here rocking with us and even some new ones each and every week as well, too. Ty, what else is in that notebook, man? Want to make sure you get your shit off.
Well, I mean, we've kind of been all over the place. We've gotten a lot off our chests. I think a lot of my notes tonight was just to emphasize how much better our own players need to play. I mean, across the board, every player is down like 20 plus points in their OPS plus. The significant drops, including stars we love, Julio, JP, Ty, and then Mitch Haniger. He's had crappy stats for a couple years now, and my eye test tells me he's not the same hitter anymore. So it might just be time for his career maybe to come to a close. And I don't even know what to say because RG, I decided during the All-Star break, I just was looking at the top players in OPS? Who's hitting the best in baseball? I was trying to find a correlation because I'm thinking maybe the early 30s is the cutoff point for good hitting now with the electric stuff the average pitcher has. But then I look at the top of the list and there's tons of guys killing in the game that are in their early 30s. The Mariners, I think it's a combination of a bunch of things. It's putting too much pressure on guys like a Garver who's used to batting like sixth to ninth. Now you'd ask him to hit cleanup. It's also a philosophical, organizational type of thing where I think they rely too much on the analytics of hitting. Sometimes you need to let a guy hit. You made the major leagues for a reason. It wasn't because of his numbers. It was because of how you play the damn game. And then also T-Mobile Park. It's not one thing. It's a bunch of things combined. But some guys do it, though. Geno Suarez had maybe the best year of his career when he first came to Seattle. There's got to be some sort of mental block. But damn it, our guys have to play better for outside additions to even matter.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Or we just end up like the Lakers, cycling coaches, and the coaching isn't really the problem. It's the production on the field. Tough. Tough.
Oh, Mariners lifer. We might have to get our wives together if she's listening to Taylor Swift songs crying about Ty France exiting the building. But you know what? This is pro sports, baby. And I don't care how handsome you are. If you don't produce, they're going to replace you, man. That's the business of the game, man. You're paid to win. You're paid to produce. And for a couple years, he was damn good. Like RG said, he was a freaking all-star, and he deserved it. But he has also played his way into a spot where he became expendable. And guess what? Teams are always looking for a cheaper solution at your position. Ty Locklear might be that guy.
TikTok. July 30th is coming soon. And that object that was in our rearview mirror has now pulled up on their side. They got a full tank of gas ready to race. What are we going to do, baby? What are we going to do? Well, my man, I appreciate the time that we've had with everybody today. I've been telling her that Locklear has been knocking. So be prepared, but that doesn't help. Oh, man. Oh, man, if I could give you any suggestion, unplug the goddamn radio and shut off her Bluetooth. Maybe that'll get you through the next couple minutes. But again, we're happy that each and every single one of you has joined us again on this live chat. We try to rock this for you each and every Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Coast time. If we don't get Vlad, go all in for Robert. Again, I don't think that Vlad is going to be the one that we go for. I actually see a deal where I would love to make sure that we can go after Robert and also that pitcher that they have as well too. Maybe we don't need an additional pitcher, but Castillo hasn't been Castillo this year as well too. Service will be fired if we miss the playoffs. Well, that remains to be seen as well too. But that clock is getting ever so loud, ever so loud. Again, we thank each and every single one of you for joining us. Don't forget to always follow us on our socials, at My Oh My ASP. You can find this broadcast on Twitch and YouTube each and every Sunday. If you can't make the live broadcast, you can download the episode each and every Sunday. No, Kopik is the closer. I'm trying to think of the guy's name before I get to the closing. Garrett, he pitched really well against us the last time the White Sox were in town. And Robert just decided to put on his audition tape by hitting all those bombs. But man, it's gonna make me frustrated. But again, follow us on our socials at My Oh My ASP. If you can't catch us live, the episode does drop every Tuesday on whatever platform it is that you choose to get your podcast from, as well too. Don't forget to follow some of the content that we put out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. You can even catch me on MySpace, and I put you in my top 8 if we have to. Ty, anything else for the people?
Ginger Fit Dad, crochet. I didn't know that we were talking about knitting some hats and scarves out here.
Yeah, that's the boy's name, Crochet.
Thanks for dropping the knowledge, man. Huge shout out to the live chat. And my thoughts as a Seattle sports fan in general, Mariners, make us love baseball. There's been way too many summers where we're just counting down till football starts. I want to put my Seahawks gear away right now and rock with y'all. Come on, Mariners. It is not time to give up. It's time to get your freaking hands dirty, get some dirt under those fingernails, go out, win some ball games, and hopefully a couple reinforcements are coming.
You should want to put that Seahawks shit away because they fucking suck. Yeah, on Indy's Madden game. Other than that, you falling at the bottom of the thing. Happy to be back, Sunday Evening Media. Do we have an OnlyFans too? Shit, if you willing to pay for that subscription, dog. Oh, that ain't what we doing. That ain't what we doing. All right, fuck it. I'll leave my shirt on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big shout out to super producer Indy as well. Vaden Podcast Services presents My Oh My. It's another sports podcast. Also want to give a big shout out to our social media director, Miss Katie Masamoto. We thank you for all you do, as well, team and all the staff behind the scenes of Vaden Podcast Services that help us bring this to you each and every Sunday. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get some last minute love here. Yandy Diaz and Randy would be great bats to get. But we had a chance to go after them in the offseason and we chose not to. So and there were a lot of people who follow along in the bleacher community. They hated the fact of a Rosarena joining our team. But again, I take his bat. I'll take his bat. I'll take whatever production he has to. He could hold it down in the outfield. We just need a little bit more than what it is we have now in order to be able to get it done. Ty, any closing thoughts?
No, man. Just let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Absolutely, absolutely. Remember, man, life is a series of moments to enjoy each and every single one of them that you have. We're all baseball fans. Let's cheer our Mariners on 10 toes down, no matter how it goes. For the homie Ty Talks holding it down in Washington, our super producer Indy, I'm your boy RG. It's good to be back. We'll see y'all next week, man. On My Oh My, it's another sports podcast.